The Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
This is the Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Good morning. Good morning. It's Philly, Joe, and Kirby. Kirby back on the program from her vacation tomorrow morning. But another day of Philly and Joe.
Yeah, and a warmer one today that could make things tricky by tomorrow, depending on how much the temperature drops. But we're looking at some flurry activity today or possibly rain showers, believe it or not.
Ooh.
But a windy one as well. But that wind's coming from the west today. So if you're working outside, you could be dealing with a couple different things.
This weather's stupid. I don't like it. And we got a call on the bone phone about it today. The mild weather in January that just creates a slop fest out there. And hey, nice weather's nice weather, but at least if it happens, in March and April, you're like, okay, this could be it. Spring's on the way. But we know more cold weather's coming, and this just, I find it gross out there. You can't keep your vehicle clean.
Oh, no. I don't know if this is a fact or not, but do we not usually get this warmer little lull in February, usually around, Louis Riel Day and the Festival de Voyageur? You usually get a bit of a dip. Not January, but rain showers in the forecast?
Some years, yeah, because I seem to recall like the sculptures with Festival de Voyageur having some trouble this time of year, but I'd rather, a little bit colder than this. But, of course, we all know it'll never just be a little colder. It'll go straight from this to minus 38.
Listen, if you think you're using the car wash today, by the time you get through that, if you're going through one of the, gas station car washes where you get through that supersized fan at the end there, right, that blows all the water and blows your windshield off your vehicle. Once you get outside of the car wash, you can only go maybe 12 feet before your car's dirty again.
Instantly dirty.
Yes.
Will you wait in line like a big car wash line? Because you will see some monster car wash lines, and I'm impatient. So if I see that, I'm like, no, I'll come back later.
That could be the PJK question of the day right now. That's not bad. No, it's come up in discussion with me before. How many cars will you actually wait behind? Like, if you're driving and you don't need gas, let's say you just want the car wash kind of place, and you go, wow, there's 4 cars there. That's not bad.
Four's not bad.
Yeah, so will you go for 4? Will you let 4 be in front of you? Because that's, let's say, about a 5-minute average?
Whoa, 5 minutes per car?
Yeah, 6 minutes?
If there's 5 in line and then there's 6 stalls inside, so you got to assume.
If you even go that route. If you're going just the gas station route, you're just in line one at a time going in,
with
right?
one person in. Yeah.
That's about a 5-minute
per car.
That's about a 5-minute per car. So you're sitting there for about 20, 25 minutes knowing that. Would you go?
Boston Pizza text line car wash. 3, no more. I have the patience of a squirrel.
So let's say it's about 15 minutes.
You and I both on the text line. I have 0 patience. So, I bet you I'm 3 or 4 too. That's about my limit. But you will see some giant car wash.
Oh,
lines.
yeah.
Like, that's an investment.
Well,
that's 2 hours something.
You go to a place like the Chamois, because they get the cars in and out there. And you're driving down Waverly. That would be the closest Chamois for me, and I could see 21 cars in line.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that long, but
3
they're
lanes.
there. Yeah, 3 lanes. Yeah, exactly.
But I will, with the Chamois, I feel like I know their busy times now.
Yes.
And this would be crazy. Although people will say in this type of weather, what's the point? And you might get in a little quicker with a car wash. It's when it all of a sudden starts to get a little colder. And
you got to find the right temperature. Those gas station ones seem to close, right, when it's super cold. So you got to usually wait till it's colder to get it washed. But a lot of 4s are coming up. 3s and 4s seem to be the average number on how many cars people will be okay with in front of them for a car wash.
Dirt keeps the paint print. She only gets a bath once a year. Come on now.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay, well, let us know. These are the big questions here with PJK this morning.
It's the wrong person to get a gift card for a car wash.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly, Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly, Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Caitlin on the Boston Pizza text line, going back to a conversation that we kicked off the show with this morning. How many cars have to be lined up at a car wash for you to go, nah, I'll come back tomorrow or later? Caitlin says 0. If there's a car ahead of me, then I'm giving up on that thought for the day, and we will try again tomorrow.
Wow.
Caitlin, I respect that. That is awesome.
Wow.
Because that's, you know what, I'm not 0. I'm not that bad, but even if I walk into a And most of the time it's drive-thrus now. But if I even walk into some form of a restaurant and it's, it's packed in that lobby, I'm right back out. I'm walking.
Yeah.
I'm turning around and walking right back out.
Different sense, though, for me because of hunger quotient. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if it means I got to get in my car and go somewhere else because I do have to stop, then I'm there. I'm committed. I've made my commitment to be there if I'm going in. And more times than not, if it's fast food, I'm in the drive-through line anyway. So once you've committed to that, you're not going anyway. The car wash, it depends. I try and find one as close to home as possible, especially on weather, when it's colder, because then you're just, you're not getting the car all messy driving halfway across town after washing it. So I don't mind waiting for a few cars if you've got that extra time.
This texter nails it. And we've been through this sort of topic before. If they sold Costco dogs, I could probably wait longer. It's calming. And you know what? I go back to when I needed a passport. I was in a jam and I forgot to renew my passport and I had a trip coming up. And there was big lines at the passport office for, I don't know if
huge.
I don't know if it's still like that. It seems to me it was coming out of COVID or something.
Yeah.
And it was big lines, but there was a hot dog cart right in the middle of where the big line was.
That's a moneymaker.
And so you get there, you're like, look at this line, but then you're like, oh, but I can have a hot dog. If there was more food carts, at car wash lines, maybe it would make it a lot easier.
That's all you need on your forms. What's this? Mustard? Yeah. I was just having the hot dog outside.
There's a hot dog
Bit of
cart
a wait.
when I was waiting in line. But, maybe that would make it easier if you're waiting for a car wash and they have some food there.
Depends on, hey, you go to like a place like the Chamois while you're watching it happen. I usually buy a bag of jujubes or something.
Yeah.
As if like this is free entertainment watching the cars go through.
It's hard not to get something while you're waiting for your vehicle.
100%.
Pepperoni stick.
You go to a gas station, when you buy the car wash, sometimes you buy a chocolate bar or something, right? While your car was in line and washing. So that makes sense.
We're also getting Two Dad Tuesday text messages already. Look at this, J-Dog. Look at that fish.
You know what? A lot of people should have Tuesday pictures today, especially ice fishing and that. The weather was so good on Sunday. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day. I was surprised that day. I went out for a walk with my dog. That surprised me. But usually he likes to do a walk down to the river, and he never did.
He didn't want to go?
No, but usually we'll go for like 5 kilometers down the river. I don't know. I usually give him, hey, where do you want to go? And he just leads the way for the walk.
J-Dog, tell us how big that fish is. He measured it. That's a huge fish.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Huge.
you got to give us some more information on that. That's a giant fish. That's the size of his arm.
Yeah.
Wow.
If not bigger, Phil. I bet you that's
bigger, actually. You're right.
Oh, yeah, that's half his body.
Yeah. You got to give us some info on that so we can congratulate you.
Yeah, no
Monster
kidding.
Fish. Do that Tuesday. Send us your photos on the Boston Pizza text line 762-555. Entertainment rundown on the way.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
It's the loud guy. Here I am on Lachmodier. Extremely slippery in both directions. Not a stitch of sand again. Like, I don't get it. 2 days it took them to sand, and then today we got the same kind of slippery conditions, but we're not sanding. Maybe we're waiting for some accidents. It's so stupid.
So that call came in a couple of days ago now, and we're hearing on the Boston Pizza text line that we're getting some results out there, or we're at least getting an update.
The word we got this morning from Piss Trucker, he talked to a couple of the guys out there that they've been sanding around the perimeter, both north and south sides, all the way around, okay?
That's good news. Moving on. Lots of calls on the bone phone over the last little while about lights.
Hey, set up in traffic again. Don't know why people need to be reminded of this, but your daytime running lights do not light up the back of your car. So let's get our heads out of our rear ends, people, and turn those headlights on, period. Because when you had a day today with a lot of blowing snow and you got a white car without your back lights on, you're just asking for someone to drive through you. And I'm in the city, and I've counted in the past 4 blocks, 5 cars without any headlights on, just using their daytime running lights so you can't see the back of them. And that's just in a few blocks. So come on, Winnipeg. get your, together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a common theme on the Bone Phone. People complaining about motorists not having their lights on. Staggering the amount of people buzzing around when it's dark out without lights, and not even like tail lights is one thing, but you'll see it's not uncommon to see vehicles at night and early in the morning with no lights at all on.
And it's and it's hard enough with the new street lights to see the streets properly with the asphalt.
Oh man,
never mind with your own lights off.
I bet you we see an awareness campaign at some point in the next few years from WPS, where they pull people over and just educate, give them a warning, say, hey, flip the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
T. Kona, not a fan of this mild weather in January.
Hey, good morning. It's T. Kona. Hey, this warm weather in January sucks. I don't like it one bit. We get a little snow, and it helps for snowmobiling, for the trails and everything. But more so for the roads on the city, it's just absolute garbage to drive in. And now it's creating already potholes. They're all popping up right here. Coming down Waverly, and you get dodging all these goddamn holes already. But yeah, at least be cold in the winter, please. Wait till April, then get warm. All right? Goddamn Mother Nature.
Yeah, I'm with T. Kona there. It just makes for a slop fest out there.
Yeah, there's no one in this province that's sitting there going, you know what, if we could only have another pothole month outside of April. You're not kidding. T. Kona, you hit it right on the head.
I know you spend a lot more time in the hallways than I do in any given 4 hours.
Yeah. At work?
Within the confines of this show. At work, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been out in the hall already, grabbing water and everything. Is Iron Mike here? Did you see him kicking around?
I did not see him.
Okay, well, usually
he's here by now.
Usually he's at his desk by now. Listen up, boss. This one's for you.
This is for the guy who requested Victim of Changes. Yes, I 100% agree. Victim of Changes is one of Rob Halford's best songs. He goes from super high to super low. So if you guys can get that song on there, I've requested it a few times. You guys told me the same thing. It's not available. Come on, Iron Mike. And where's Judas Priest Week? Let's get it on.
There you go. He would have heard that. And we've said, we don't set a lot of deadlines with the boss. But by Friday, at the very latest, we want that song.
Yeah, he has to take notice now because you're right. We don't set any deadlines. I'll tell you what. All it's going to take is a couple of less minutes of his workout one day this week. Or he cuts off one of his bosses on a meeting and says, hey, I got some work to do here. I don't have time to talk to you guys today. The boys have given me a deadline.
All right, let's wrap up with Lisa. Not a fan of loud noises. I think we've learned that about her, like whether there's kids living in her building.
Yeah, she's an apartment dweller, which noise would be a factor for most.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys. I like one person sleeping with me, not 100 people. One, which means you're not allowed in my apartment.
Oh.
No trespassing.
Oh.
I got to live with this crap. A daycare on top of my head and a daycare down the hallway.
Kids, see?
I like one person,
right.
Not 100 people in my apartment.
See, I've done the apartment thing. I can relate.
Me too.
Lisa, it's when you got loud families around you or loud people in general.
I will tell you, at one point, I was living in one of those garden apartments. You know, you have your own entrance. One above the other, and I had a nurse living next door to me. I only saw her in the patio every once in a while, leaving right to the parking lot. And I was working.
Is this your life or a movie you were watching?
No, what happened was
nurse next door.
The cop. I get the cops knocking at my door at like 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm startled. Why are the cops here? And she had called the cops that there was a party going on next door, and it was my clock radio, my alarm.
Oh.
And it was like 3:30 in the afternoon. The music was too loud going through a wall. I'm trying to wake up. Anyway, she worked a night shift
through the loud music. And the cops.
She calls the cops.
Imagine the cops peeking in there. What kind of party is going on here?
Yeah, for some noise. But anyway, I mean, apartment dwelling, you're going to always get those kind of complaints. But Lisa has complained before about the daycare down the street or down the hall, I think she said.
And that was the end of your apartment dwelling. AILO.
Yeah, I bought a house. It was safer for everybody.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
That Tuesday, we asked a guy named J-Dog for a little more information on the text line about a fish because he's Tudat, right? If you're new to the show, the number 2, DAT, and it's 2 days ago Tuesday. This is a groundswell movement on social media
Thank you.
Joe Aiello started, and it's taken off like wildfire. Every Tuesday we get photos from people on the text line about what they did on Sunday.
How clever is that?
Oh, it's so brilliant.
Tuesday really just didn't get, it's not a throwback Thursday. It's not a would you, rather Wednesday or a win it Wednesday. Tuesday needs something outside of Taco Tuesday.
Tuesdays,
used to be Toonie Tuesday.
Yeah.
But even KFC stopped doing that.
Tuesdays used to be kind of useless.
Yeah.
I've even told you that because you told me once you came in here and you're like, oh, it's Tuesday already.
Yeah.
And I remember this vividly. I'm like, Joe, you can't say that. It's never, unless it's a short work week, it's never Tuesday.
You were
already.
very short with me that day. And I said, wow.
Wasn't happy.
The disrespect of Tuesday. I said.
But now it means something.
Yes.
And J-Dog, who said he sent us a picture of a giant fish that he caught on Sunday, and we were like, you got to give us some information on this fish. So he has 39-inch northern pike caught on the Red River in Selkirk, just 2 inches short of a master angler northern pike. I fought reeling in that pike for 15 minutes. The anxiety and excitement was through the roof.
Are you kidding me? 15-minute time limit or one fall, and J-Dog came out the winner. You know what? Anybody that, that's a big fish. And you got to be proud of that picture. I'm glad he sent it. Hey, Big N, up in the Dauphin area, sledding with the gang. That was absolutely tremendous, too.
That looks fun.
And then I had somebody send me pictures of their 3 Frenchies going for a walk, and I'll tell you, I have one. I wish I could say I envy 3 of them, but they're stubborn. And one I love him. But man, 3 of them.
He's a handful, right?
Oh, he's a handful because he's a mama's boy, and he doesn't listen to anything, right? He doesn't like people too much. He's very protective.
So if someone walks in the door,
he'll go to you.
He's not real happy, right? So is he letting you know I don't like it that you're here? Is that the deal?
Yeah, or even when you're walking, the dog. Everybody goes, oh, he's so cute. And I'll say, no, you can't put your hand down there and let him sniff it out because that's what everybody does with a dog. I said, he'll nip at you.
Wow.
And he did that with one of the neighbors, right? And it was like...
Forgive my ignorance.
No.
I've never owned a dog.
My first.
I have 2 fish. I don't need to worry about that kind of thing with the
You're
fish.
not going to post a picture on that?
Cleaning the tank is annoying, but I don't know about dogs. So, would obedience school help with that kind of thing?
Yeah, I suggested that maybe that'd be a good deal, but of course, Mama's boy, Mama says, well, just let him be a dog. Well, yeah, I don't want him to bite anybody, but he's protective.
Okay. Well, at least he's
Thanks
small.
for bringing that up.
I didn't mean to start something with you and Christy
Another
this morning.
discussion.
I'll change the subject. Tuesday. Send us your photos.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
I honestly did not mean to start something with you and Christy this morning about the dog. Your wonderful dog, Stewie.
I will say this. I did hear from my neighbor, Tracy, and Dean. Their son, Ethan, is the one guy down the block. There's one other kid on the other side, David, but Ethan sees them all the time because they live a couple doors down.
Yep.
Ethan's about the one kid that my dog will go down and crouch down and go to get, some Scooby-Doos there under the chin kind of thing.
Yeah.
But here's, I knew this was coming. Here we go. Oh, hold on. I just got to open this up here. My wife. You can let Phil know that for the record, I never said just let him be a dog. LOL. Haha.
Oops.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this got started because I don't know, and you said your dog will nip a little bit, and Stewie the French bulldog is territorial and isn't that friendly to everybody who enters your house, and I just said, hey, would obedience school have helped? And you, like any good man, you threw your wife under the bus, and you said, well, Christy, I don't know, you take it from there, Joe. You guys. She's a mama's. He's a mama's boy.
Oh, actually, women in general. If you're a woman and my dog sees you, boom, all over you. Men, he starts to get a little.
Oh,
he's an alpha.
He's defending his territory.
Yeah. He likes his ladies.
Who's this dude entering my house?
And somebody, I think it was my neighbor that actually said on the text line, they saw him in his 92 City T-shirt walking around the streets today.
like a tough guy.
He's got his city shirt on today. It's like the one we wore in the TV commercials. Probably the same one, actually.
Probably the same
it
one.
It fits him. He's 32 pounds.
So if I walked in and gave Christy a hug, would he get extra mad? Like
Yeah.
if he thinks that
You're
I'm
not getting the hug.
I'm not getting in there. He's right in between us.
Absolutely.
There's something pretty funny about that.
Yeah. Until he's nipping at you.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'll let you. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry,
for
I got to
bringing
get back
that
to
up.
my wife.
You
Thanks.
sort that out.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Joe, we used to have a segment on the show called Ask Joe, where people could send you text messages because full disclosure, Joe, you're good with the advice. People have come to you. It's not uncommon for people in the workplace, friends of yours, to ask for your opinion on things.
I do have an opinion.
Yeah.
Someone tell you that too.
Well, Kirby will go to you on a lot of things. Like she will ask your opinion on
That's
things,
true.
life advice, this and that. So it's like we thought, well, why should just Kirby and I reap these benefits of Joe when we can let
It's free. Let's just
let everyone in 92.1 City participate with Ask Joe.
free
Anyway,
advice.
it was short-lived. We don't do the segment anymore. but every now and then we get a phone call or a text, and I'm like, yeah, let's let Joe tackle this one. And this came in on the bone phone.
Hey, so I'm just driving home, whatever, had a decent day. I get a text from the girlfriend. Guess the infinite wisdom she bestowed upon me. Her text said, hi. That's it. Nothing else. No, hi, how are you doing? Hi, how's your day? No, I go screw yourself. No, nothing like that. No, just hi. Like, I don't know why, but does this bug anyone else? Like, that drives me crazy. Drives me insane. It's if you want to have a conversation, have a conversation. Don't just text me hi. Like, I'm not a 5-year-old. Like, mom, what? Hi. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. Am I the only one that kind of bugs, or anyone else have issues with that too?
So no texting agenda. Just like a hi, hello. Would it have been better if she said, hey, how's it going? Good morning? I don't know.
Well, yeah, it would have given out a little bit more of a tone, but to be honest, hi could be enough. Hi could be enough as in, hey, I'm thinking about you, but without spelling it out, right? I don't know the relationship, so that's where it gets tricky. He sounded a little perturbed that it happens way too often. Like, how many of those highs are you getting in a day, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what he does for a living either. Because sometimes
sounds like a busy guy. Like if I can sort of read between the lines.
Yeah.
Listen, babe, I'm busy. I got to grab my phone, and this is me. I'm assuming a lot here, but it does sound like he's like, I gotta put my tools down or whatever, and reach into my phone, reach down, grab my phone just to see that you said hi.
100%. So depending on the job, right, and how busy the person is, and all of a sudden, and you go, oh, okay, hi. Like, I don't have time for hi right now, right? Like, because I'm doing a thing. So I've heard that situation before in frustration from people I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can't be doing this with the job. Some people, you can't even handle your phone with your job. So I don't know if it's that. But at the end of the day, yeah, he's got to go to her and say, like, hey, we can't be, or you get the full message, like, hey, just thinking about you, that's cool. But some people don't want to get into that because then it just opens up a rabbit hole of conversation, and then that's where it takes away from work too, right?
So I would say that she's just trying to say in her own way,
Yeah.
her own quick way, have a good day, I'm thinking about you.
And he sees it as passive-aggressive, which is not good.
And he's saying, unless there's something, like, unless you have something to tell me, I don't really need you to do that. So if Joe and I might play amateur relationship
Yeah, well, that's it, where we're not professionals.
Very amateur.
I don't want to call myself a professional, either do you.
It's hard to tell her, listen, baby, if you don't got anything for me, don't text me. It's hard to say that to someone.
Yeah. I honestly think so. Let's take the week, okay? It's Tuesday. If you got a high yesterday, and then you got a high today, and then you get a high tomorrow, that might be a lot.
So let's
but
go.
If a random high, just to let you know that I've been thinking about you. And I think it's different, too. He said girlfriend. I don't know if they live together, but it might be a little different if they live in different residents, too, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're living at home and my wife goes, hi, I'm going to go, hi.
Well, see,
I just saw you 7 hours ago.
The butcher, and when in doubt, always ask your butcher. They are very savvy with the advice. The butcher on our text line says, in my relationship, a text saying hi means text me or call me when you have a chance.
Wow. I would never have gotten that from a hi.
Me neither.
Good for you, Butcher.
Yeah.
No, like, really, I would have gotten a hi. I would have just said, hey, and then waited for another response. And maybe that's what has triggered this guy. Because it's like, well, no, I don't have time for a conversation. But if I don't respond, I'm going to get in heck too.
So, Joe, if you're listening, this couple, Joe is saying, she's just trying to say, I'm thinking about you, but you're also saying to the girl, like, you don't need more than a couple of those a week?
Yeah. It looks like we have 2 butchers on the text line. Can you imagine?
Only this show could have multiple butchers texting us. That is, wow.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
The average worker, Phil, will do this 3 times at the office this week. So the average worker is going to do this 3 times this week alone at the office.
780 City, 780 2484. Good morning.
Hey, it's J-Dog.
J-Dog.
Fishing on Sunday, answering a question on Tuesday. To that.
Congratulations on that fish, man. Wow.
Where were you?
Hey, I was in the Red River in Selkirk.
Right. I think you mentioned that on the text, but yeah. So that's been a good area for fishing this year.
Yes, sir.
A lot of shacks. It's amazing what people are building for shacks nowadays. You can't even call them shacks. Some of these are homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're stuck in a home away from home.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's down in Selkirk.
When you got to have 2 security systems now tied into your alarm company.
Okay, J-Dog, you got a guess for us?
I'm going to say gossip about another coworker.
That's a great answer, but not in the top 3, no. The average worker is
Right
going to
on,
gossip
thank you.
3 times at the office this week.
Yeah, have a good one, J-Dog.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in this morning. Hi, City.
Hey, good morning. Can I get a lifeline?
You sure can. I'll take a guess for you. 3 times this week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, talk to the boss. You know, you walk by, it's hard not to sometimes. You walk by their office or whatever. You got to say hello.
Not top 3.
Not even top 3.
No.
Thanks for playing. That's 1 lifeline down. True's tickets on the line. 780 City, good morning.
Go with taking a dump.
No, not a dump.
Okay. Depends if you got the private bathroom or the stall situation.
Yeah,
I
our
think,
world changed here, I'll tell you.
Oh, man.
We went from about 3 different... Well, there's a couple private ones. You got to find them in this big building
show
here
me
in
this.
Scurfield.
I don't even know there was
I
private
believe
bathrooms.
so.
I just used the one down the hall. It's stall situation. I feel like a trucker. 780 City, 780 2484. Good morning, City.
Hello?
Hi there.
Hi. Can I get a lifeline?
Sure can. 3 times a week.
The average worker will do this 3 times at the office this week.
They will make coffee.
No, sir.
Not make coffee.
No.
Not even in the top.
No, not top 3.
Okay.
I think the number might be too small for the coffees. You're probably making it 5 times a week if you're in, I guess. I don't know. How many cups a day would you make?
If I was making
a
like
3 in a week?
I always bring coffee in, but it'd be every day if I
Like-
wasn't bringing it in.
Yeah. So maybe 3's not enough, maybe,
Okay.
for coffee.
780 City, good morning.
Make a personal call.
No, nothing to do with personal calls.
Is this something I do at the office, Joe?
No.
Do you do it?
No.
So we
No,
don't do
it's
this.
A sign of the times.
Oh.
Am
Hi.
I on the radio?
You're on the radio
Hello?
right now. Yeah, go ahead with your guess.
Okay, so they're going to be late.
Not late. No, nothing to do with late.
There's a bit of a hint in there. You might have missed it. Joe said a sign of the times, and we don't do this. Hi, City.
Is it work from home?
You know what? I'm going to give it to you because it's not working from home. It's actually you have to show up for work, the mandatory amount, 3 days a week. So the question is the average worker is showing up 3 times at the office this week. So yes, working from home is the whole concept. Showing up, mandatory back to work scheduling, rebooting their computer actually was number 2, and bringing a lunch. Bringing a lunch was number 3.
I love rebooting. Every engineer you've ever called in the history of your professional life, the first thing they say to you, have you tried rebooting?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, listen, if you call like one of these tech companies, the first thing it does, have you unplugged for 30 seconds. And it's the longest 30 seconds of your life if it involves your TV, I'll tell you that.
Well, yes, and it seems silly, but half the time you're like, oh, I haven't done that yet. I guess I should have done that before I called you. Who's this?
It's excellent. It's Dave.
Dave,
David!
congratulations, and hang on.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Listen, Phil, just got a call here from another traffic report, Arlington and Ellis. There's a collision there. The westbound lanes are all plugged up. That came in from the mayor, Scott Gillingham.
Oh, look at that.
Listening to the program. Always love to hear that. But yeah, Arlington and Ellis collision, westbound lanes plugged up there.
Hard-nosed, stay-at-home defenseman, the mayor. He played good hockey. He played good hockey in the city versus the province game that we coached.
Don't get me started, but that has opened up a gateway now. We're coaching two different teams coming up on Saturday, February 15th. There will be no love lost on Valentine's Day weekend. It's actually Louis Riel weekend, too.
Guns and hoses.
Yeah.
You can get your tickets now for that game.
Yeah.
I'm behind the bench for the police. You got the fire department.
Smoke, baby, smoke. Where there's smoke, there's going to be some fire. It's part of my speech.
Stop asking me for the game plans. Okay, I'm not telling you what we're doing.
I tried.
We've been working on some schemes, some power plays, and everything else, and you're not getting it out of me.
Don't kid yourself. I've got so many people crawling up your butt right now. I know what you had for breakfast.
Oh, no.
These guys are following your kids
I don't like
right
the
now
sound of
in
that.
their hockey games. We're getting every little ounce of whatever. I might need your cones, though. Can I borrow your cones for a practice?
No.
I don't have any.
No, you're not. You can buy your own cones for your
Wow.
practices.
That'll be a fun game, actually, for three great charities, and we are so happy to be involved. Listen, I was reading this morning, and I have no idea because I don't drink coffee, but I thought this was interesting. It's one of those life hacks I've seen on social media.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, salt has come up a lot in conversation with people in my world over the last month.
Okay.
Whether you're out eating or it needs a little bit more salt. And I try and avoid putting more salt on stuff because I don't need my blood pressure to be any higher than it already is and such. And it's a health risk, right?
Yeah, I've cut
salt.
way back as well, yeah.
But have you ever heard of this before for coffee drinkers? And you can weigh in on the Boston Pizza text line. I've never heard of this before. But if you put a pinch of salt, especially in a cheap cup of coffee, apparently it will make the coffee taste better.
Oh,
Have you
wow.
ever heard of that before?
This is crazy. So I don't do that. But my mom, Kathy Aubrey, when I was growing up,
I just read this.
And she's showing me things, and I used to watch her make coffee, would put a pinch of salt in the coffee she was making, and she would tell me that it takes away the bitterness.
Well, okay, and I mean, growing up Italian, espresso is about as bitter as a coffee can come. I'll have to check in on that. I never drank this stuff growing up.
All these years later, I don't do it, and here we are. People do this, and it wasn't just my mom that would put the pinch of salt. So are you saying in a cup of coffee, she would put it in the coffee she was brewing?
Yeah, just from what I'm reading. Yeah, okay, so the butcher Colin is saying, I heard a pinch takes the bitterness away. You're getting that. Salt in the coffee grinds first takes the bitterness away. So you're saying that too.
Yeah.
Put it in the grinds. Somebody said, try salt in chocolate milk.
Huh. So
Apparently this has been going on for years.
Big George says do it all the time. I love, of course, you've got to clarify. We learned this morning there are two butchers who text the show.
Yeah, Butcher 9000 and then Butcher Colin. Somebody just said, I'm making coffee right now. I put in some salt, add my water, and turn it on. It takes away the bitterness. Absolutely. Okay.
That's amazing. I'm going to call my mom later today and say, Mom, all those years later, I should have learned that off you, the salt. We were talking about it on the show. I just hope my dad doesn't answer. What?
Well, anybody who listens to the show knows you might not have to call your mother. She might just drop in.
Oh, God.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
The Toronto Raptors have won 4 in a row. Scotty Barnes had 21 points, 11 boards, as the Raptors down the Pelicans. And I didn't write down the score, but it was like 103 something here. I don't know why I didn't write down the score, but
did
I
he
did
have
not.
his sub with banana peppers
Well,
on
that's
it?
you're darn right he did. 11 boards. Hold on, I got it right here. 21 points, 11 boards, and an assorted cold cut sub with extra banana peppers.
For more Philly Joe and Kirby, lock it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.